Hi guys, I'm Miles at Yandas Music, and we have a special guest with us today. This is my buddy Drew Weir.
Hey.
We are going to be talking about the Lakland USA basses, and Drew is playing the 5594, and I am holding this beautiful cherry red 44 AJ, and we got a couple more that we're going to talk about today. But Drew, what was your first impressions of that beautiful bass you were playing?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Lakland. We know that. This is kind of my dream bass. I absolutely love it. It's always been something that I've wanted, just because it has that feel of like that Fender old school 5-string kind of style, which is what I love. But it's just like souped up. It's got so much more to it.
Right.
The biggest thing for me is just the way the neck is designed in with this bass. And how it's just designed in a way where it's so much easier to play as a fretboard, and just the tension of it. It's just an incredible bass. The sound of it is incredible too.
Right.
Like, what about these pickups that are on here, Miles?
So, I love doing research on these because I get to learn so much. That really big pickup in the back is actually 4 coils. A lot of times we see a big pickup like that and we think it's just like a humbucker, like what you'd see in a guitar. But it's actually 4 coils instead of a 2-coil pickup.
Sure.
And then you have a little switch on there.
Yeah.
That,
so what is that for?
So it's allowing you to change the amount of coils that are on at the same time.
Oh, okay, cool.
And when I was playing it yesterday, getting used to this bass, the very front position has kind of the more hollowiest sound, and towards the back is probably the fullest sound. So a lot of tonal range in that switch alone.
Okay, so like if I'm right here,
that's probably the least amount of coils by my ear. I didn't see in the spec sheet what it was doing, like how many.
You can kind of see like there's a little bit of that. Right, okay. That
battens up.
Right, gotcha. Interesting. Very cool.
So really cool in just that pickup alone. And then the neck pickup is basically a jazz bass pickup.
Okay.
Now what I love about both of these models is they're both active.
Okay.
And so this model being their take on a jazz bass.
Right.
You don't see a lot of companies do a jazz bass. Right? Fender did it first. They do it very well, but a lot of other companies do a jazz bass, but you still don't see a lot of active jazz basses out there.
Sure.
But man, they did it well.
Yeah.
You know, and this last pickup, this last pot is stacked, so you have bass on the bottom and treble on the top, and mids, pickup balancer, and then your volume. You have to have volume.
Right.
And then your jazz bass.
Pickups. Yeah.
And so you still get the jazz bass pickup in your bass over there.
Right.
With the active controls.
Right. Gotcha.
Along with just that killer 4-coil pickup.
And I'm guessing this is the one that's controlling the actual jazz bass pickup? And
that is your pickup balancer.
Okay.
So all the way to the front would be the jazz bass.
Okay. Gotcha.
And all the way to the back would be the...
Right. So it doesn't have that... And then when you turn this one, that's that 4-coil one, and you're getting that extra boom. Right. You can hear the difference there. Right. So, yeah, gotcha.
It's very, very diverse bass, just because they put
so much of your controls are on the bass itself, not like you're having to manipulate your amp. You're trying to get extra sound. You want to,
Frankly, I would set your amp pretty static, almost straight up and down.
Gotcha.
And then let your bass just control everything from your bass.
Right. Yeah. Which is great if you're a session player, or if you're in a situation where you're playing like a big piece of music, like if it's like a big church event or something like an Easter event or Christmas event or something, and you can't really get back. You're trying to mess with your controls, but you're jumping in between different types of songs. Maybe one song's you want it to be more punchy, but then you're like backing off and you're going into more of a jazz sound. and so you just want to go back to that front jazz pickup.
It's basically like you have all your amp controls
Right.
on your bass.
Yeah, that's super nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we grab the other two basses that we
Okay.
have? All right, guys, so we're back, and we've got some new basses. Drew has got the 55 AJ. It's the 5-string version of what I had, and it's this awesome black transparent. And I have the 5594. So the 94 is Lakland's body style. Just really cool body shape. It's unique to Lakland. Unless somebody out there is copying it, it's just their bass. And then, like we said previously, that AJ is their version of the jazz bass. Off camera, we were kind of talking that
Right.
is the Lakland version of
Kind
your
of the black
personal
version
bass.
of my bass, and which honestly I love this. This
It's
is incredible.
even a
bass.
similar color, isn't it?
It's very similar. It's very similar. I do have a pickguard, but it's a very similar color. But as far as just like the way it's designed and the feel of it, it's almost exactly like mine. It's just a little bit souped up.
Why don't you play that a little bit?
Yeah, this is.
So I gotta ask, because I know the answer just a little bit, but I want to know how it feels from a player. How does that B string feel?
Yeah, it's a lot of the B strings on 5 strings, especially the Fenders. They're very difficult to manipulate and get the sound that you would get with the E. But I can hit this like the low D that I'm hitting right now, which is primarily a reason why you would have a 5-string. You want to get those low notes that go below that low E, and that almost sounds like I'm playing my E string. Just the tension, the tautness of it, it's phenomenal. Normally, if I'm playing that on mine, I would really have to manipulate the strings with my palm, my hand, to get it to sound right. But this,
So that it doesn't
I almost
feel
don't
so
even have
floppy.
to do that. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, really, you can't. It's very difficult to do any kind of like thumb slapping on a B string just because of the floppiness. It's the spaghetti string effect that we
Right.
call it, you know. But like that is pretty great. So yeah, it's a great bass.
Yeah, Lakland has definitely figured out the proper scale length.
Right. Okay.
And the right strings to use.
So what is that?
So that the tension is correct.
Sure.
And I was searching all over. I spent about an hour yesterday looking for scale length and string tension. I did not find listed what the scale length on the jazzes were. Maybe it's the same, but the scale length on these
Slightly
basses is 34 inches.
Okay. Yeah. So I think on is it Fender? Is it 32? Is it or?
I didn't look it up
Okay,
for
anyway.
comparison,
Yeah.
but now I'm interested.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the necks go in longer into the body, and that's like the physics of it that it allows.
you know
to
that
have
makes a
more
lot of sense, because let's look at this. Look how close to the edge
Right. Yeah.
that bridge is.
Right. It is.
You know, and the bass doesn't feel any longer on my
No,
body.
no, it doesn't.
You
That's
know-
the amazing part. It doesn't feel like I'm stretching out with my neck or anything, or stretching out my hand on the neck or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like just like I'm playing a regular bass, really.
But when I remember like your bass, there's body left. You know,
Right, yeah.
Before the bridge
Yeah,
gets in, there's
absolutely.
no body left.
Yeah, that's incredible.
You know,
Yeah, it's
so
pretty cool.
that scale length is obviously adjusted, and that is making that tautness of that low B.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and that's-
I don't know if that. Well, it's got to be the same, because the scale length is the same
Gotcha.
on the 4s as it is on the
Right.
5s.
I think just as a touring, like if you're a touring bassist or like a regular session bass player, that you switch from that you know, 4-string to a 5-string for different kinds of pieces, whatever you would be doing. I know a lot of guys, that's one of the issues with the 5-string, is that low B, making sure that it sounds right. You know, and so this is the nice thing with these basses, that you don't have to do a lot of manipulation.
Well, and mentioning the 4-string to the 5-string is Lakland does have the option that you can get the D-tune.
Oh, the hip shop tuner on
exactly.
there. Oh, nice.
So, I mean, there was a time in my life where I played a lot of alternate tunings where if I'm playing against a player in Dadgad, maybe I want to have a D-tune so that I can match a Dadgad acoustic guitar player.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, and so having that option to be in D on a 4-string and then jump over to having a low B on a 5 would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because those patterns are different.
Right, exactly.
On
than
a
regular
D tuning
regular
versus
standard tuning. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah. So what kind of neck is that on that guy right there?
This is not just a maple neck. This is a bird's eye maple neck.
That's pretty cool.
And so I love that you bring that up because as ordering options, so the USA stuff is not just the run-of-the-mill walk into the store and you have it. It's all custom orders. And we custom ordered these for so that our customers could just walk in the store and have it right away. So if you're interested in a Lakland USA, you can come and pick up any 4 of these from us at Yandas Music, or you can order these as well. So the ordering options are flame maple tops or quilted maple tops. On our 4494 and our 5594, we got quilted tops. On the AJs, we got flame tops.
Wow. Okay.
Which, I mean, those flame tops are, and the quilted as well, but the flame tops are really flamed.
Yeah.
They didn't just say, oh, this has a little flame, let's put it on. No, they got some really nice flame tops. And then the backs are swamp ash.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I mean, you heard them. They sound incredible.
Yeah, they really do.
The necks are maple necks. And then on the AJs, we put rosewood necks.
Okay.
With the block inlays and binding.
Okay.
And then these are rosewood dots on bird's eye maple. And so, I mean, they're top of the line, USA made. Nice. And the other thing that I actually learned once we received these is these are all plecked.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So those of you that don't know what plecking is,
I didn't even notice that.
They run these through a machine that fine-tunes the setup 100%. So the string height, the leveling of all of the frets. So, I mean, I haven't had to adjust any of these.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah,
so
sweet.
I mean, they play as well as they're expected to play. Well, guys, it's been Miles at Yandas Music and our special guest, Drew Weir. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll have some more Lakland videos of just playing on the page. Make sure you check them out. Have a great day.